full roster shuffle that they underwent, but you really do need to talk sometimes about the other side and when they also have a bit of a roster shuffle, and it's great to see that G2 are feeling in good spirits. But we're getting ready to dive into our second map of the series now. It's going to be Abyss, and I'll be honest, I'm very excited to see what's going to come to the table here, particularly because our expectations have already been kind of thrown out the window a little bit here, and it feels like we just don't know what is going to come next. We head into our agent select now, and well, I don't think it's anything too crazy to to have coming up on our fields here. Not like having that Sage in the previous that I obviously had some thoughts about. Instead, we'll go for something a little bit more straightforward. It's obviously not mirror matchups, and that does add to the excitement just that little bit more. And it's really cool to see the Jett again. Certainly feels like Jett's not been getting nearly as much love as she has in the past. So hopefully we can see a little bit of a resurgence there. And of course the KO coming out as well. In fact, a lot of this composition feels very blast from the past from the G2 side. On the other side, I love that we've got the Yoru coming out, but more so, I love that we have the Sova complementing that. I firmly believe if you want a Yoru, having that Sova to just give you that cross-map information, it can be such a difference maker for your Yoru to get that ultimate success. What on earth has happened to that gun? Stranger things have happened, I suppose. But let's get into it now. Second map of the series. This is, well, it's not do or die. If GX lose here, then, they go down to the lower bracket, and it's not the end of the world. They still have more opportunities to continue moving up through. G2, well, for both of these two teams, certainly a point of pride on the line. Now, G2 kicking things off here on their attacking half. The drone spots out one, does in fact manage to find the second as well. So that's all the information that they need, but information doesn't stop bullets. Anita gets that first. The trade is quick as you like on the other side of it. Off the back of just those two, G2 step back a little bit, give over some space. Ooh, Jade. Oh, that was very scary. Amy with a sliver of HP on that one. One stray bullet would have been the final nail in the coffin. She survives just that little bit longer now. Adora left alone here to try and battle back against the encroaching hordes. Finds herself a little bit of space to try and work with, but doesn't realize that Mimi's moved in behind her. Now Jade, somehow facing down two opponents, is able to get a kill and reload, but Vania catches her in the dying moments and leaves it in a 2 versus 2. Spike, not quite lost, has now been recovered.
One enemy remaining. B. 30 seconds left. Enemy. One enemy remaining. About there.
Shutting them down.
Over here.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
He did.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
It is done.
Knife deployed.
Rip and tear.
Grenade. Spike planted.
Right there. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
It's down. Guns up. Get deadly.
Rip and tear.
You are divided.
Launching thorns.
Weaponry to play off of, but look at these ultimates. Cosmic Divide, Hunter's Fury. We're just throwing absolutely everything into this, but the first kill will come through from Adora, taking Akita off the board, leaving G2 in a very unfavorable position. But they've positioned themselves perfectly to hold on to this map. Now G2 once again have to find a way to stabilize. Oh, exploratory mission. Pfft. Shut down. Trying to find that information, but does get caught unawares. And suddenly G2 have a way back into this. They've gone duelist for duelist, but a lot of information would have been garnered here by Adora. She would have been able to spot out quite a few of those players, so GX will be able to start rotating in, reinforcing on the site. As the smokes now start to fall, the knife comes out for the information. Oh, and it's again a spray down. The recon bolt doesn't necessarily tag anything up, but they know there aren't too many possibilities for where they could be coming from. And sure, Jade gets traded, but she gets one and keeps it in a winnable scenario. I love the transition on that. I wasn't even sure who got the kill. That was really spicy. But there you go. It's another round for GX and G2. As quick as they win one, they lose the next.
On target.
30 seconds left.
I have a feeling, Sam, that this might be another
Last player
back and
standing.
forth game.
10 seconds left. Team Ace.
It is certainly shaping up to be.
That works.
I think it's also a little bit difficult now that, G2 kind of forced on the save once again. You know you're going to be walking into an off. You know you're going to be walking into this Odin, and so to have to expend util to clear that, but still make sure you have enough to get on site, right?
Jade just spotted the entirety of G2 around the corner. That positions her perfectly to spray and pray. And it's less of a prayer, really, because it's been pretty consistent. She has been so good with this Odin. And a lot of people will look at a statement like that and go, what do you mean? It's just a hold M1. No, I beg to differ. There is a certain amount of skill that goes into that, and Jade is certainly proving that it's not a gun to be trifled with. And yet, despite the low buy, G2 are able to battle back a little bit.
Shot down.
Maybe more than a little bit.
Take flight.
Potential free gun here. Droning to make sure it's safe to take the gun. I respect it. That's not what she's doing. I am absolutely being facetious.
But in theory, right, you did drone and you do know
30
site is
seconds
safe.
left.
Yes, you don't have the weapons, but you have the numbers.
Not re-
You were able to drone, you are able to pick up a gun, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to stay in your hands very long, Sam.
One enemy
Yep,
remaining.
certainly not. Certainly not. She got a 3K? What is this? Poor Amber's there, like, don't mind me with my incredibly expensive operator. I'll just get this one. Go off, queen, I suppose. Right, team timeout. How do we deal with the Odin?
Well, and that's the thing. How do we deal with the Odin? And like you said, 3K with the Odin. I guess look at my 1 with the op. But you find a way to deal with the Odin, you still gotta find a way to deal with an op. And you have a lot of utility if you're on the side of G2, right? This double initiator, that's a lot of information that you have to play with. But it's just how much information are we using to find these guns that we're having a hard time pushing? And with an, for a good reason, you have someone who's good with an Odin, that's hard to push into. You have to use utility. You have to use utility to clear an op that's going to hold your push, but then you're looking at, well, what do we have for post plant? What do we have the rest of site? But you can't even be thinking about post plant if you can't kind of push past the hold that GX has.
Yeah, so far it has felt somewhat impenetrable, and as you say, right, they control so much of the space. So often we talk about the impact of an operator or, you know, an Odin. Very seldom, I feel, do we talk about the threat of an Odin or an operator. How many times have you not seen a shot comes out and the team goes, that's an op, we're going B. And they just completely change direction. Because simply knowing that you're going to have to contend with that, a lot of teams just don't want to have to deal with that, hassle with that unnecessarily.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure you're able to put on a
Take
site.
flight.
And to cause those rotations to come through, especially if you don't have a setup to deal with that.
oh, there we go. They are apparently powerless. Let's see if that does become the case. The Odin has already been taken offline, and as G2 swarm onto the site, well, it does certainly feel like GX have lost some of that power. Spike will get planted now, a 2-player advantage. Operator still in play. Just on the edge of that fragment. Looking to spot. Oh, goodness. The clay pigeon shooting not paying off today, unfortunately. Doesn't manage to connect that spot. Now they know where the operator is, but is it just one? Is someone with her? Spots the barrel of the gun, swings out, escapes with her life. Ava, how are you still alive? And Akita is there to make sure that Jada cannot cause a problem later on in the round. And Adora now will choose to back the heck away. One ultimate is all it took, and G2 will take that round straight to the bank.
But that's exactly what you need to do if you're G2. Right? We just said that, and that's exactly what a timeout is being used for. How do we deal with this? We're having a hard time. What can we do? Well, we have ultimates. How can we use that to get on site? How can we use that to deal with the operator, deal with the Odin, deal with the setup they have?
Still got a few ultimates here to play around with as well. G2 doing a solid job to try to cycle those ults. I think a lot of teams might panic a little bit, expend more than what is necessary, but even under pressure, G2 steal their nerve a little bit. A little bit of poking and prodding across the map to try and find some information.
Here.
Not just poking and prodding, Adora goes full tilt into mid. Doesn't spot much of anything. Sees one, but with that little bit of clearing done, that's going to narrow down where these pushes are likely going to be happening. However, that was spotted. Amy knows that there was a dimensional drift into mid, so they can reclaim this mid space, potentially catch GX off guard.
Flare.
When we're talking about the difference in these team comps, you have that double initiator on the side of G2, but when you have that Yoru ult, you're able to use that to get so much information. But now, like you said, G2 able to take all this space mid. Your GX, there's only so many places they can come from, but you gotta be ready for that hit.
30 seconds left.
As soon as the cloud burst comes through, Jade starts spamming down the shots, but none of it connects, and she's forced to have to back away. And now it's a pincer maneuver. These two players from GX caught alone on the site, and yet despite that, continuing to battle back. Unfortunately, 2 versus 5 is a difficult one to maintain any semblance of control in. So G2 find themselves an opening once more and leave GX in a position where they have to try to retake. So they'll start to move into position. Limited utility available here for a retake as well. That last smoke has just gone down. Anva caught out in the open. Akita being an absolute lifeline. She had a bit of a rough map 1, and folks, it happens. But map 2, she is showing up in exceptional ways and is keeping G2 alive.
As we hopped into Agent Select, I was like, man, I love the comp they're running. I love this double initiator. You're able to set Akita up. You have a lot of information that can give Mimi really good reads, but then you have Akita playing like this, and it's like you don't even need to set Akita up. She can do it herself.
So here's this tweet that just came out recently from the GX CEO. Didn't expect to make it to top 4 this early, but the team is evolving very fast and performing against top teams. And that's super exciting. That was one of our thoughts and our stories coming into today. The fact that GX had a championship caliber team, quite literally, they were there. They didn't have the best results, and they overhauled the entire team. And to be fair, most of the players they picked up have a wealth of experience in the EMEA stages, but no champs experience. And despite that, maybe it's that hunger. Maybe that's exactly the reason. But they've come into this stage, these playoffs, and they have massively outperformed expectations.
You talk to Asuka earlier. I got to sit down with Asuka, right? And like we said, GX has been to twice. Asuka's taken a team to champs. Has to see something in this team to overhaul this team like they have. They do have the hunger, they have the motivation, and getting to speak with these players, and we've kind of gotten to see their thoughts and their ideas on what they want. They want this so badly, and I think that's part of it, is they're fighting for it. They're fighting for their spot. They made it to playoffs. They want to move on to champs. They want to get these points.
You've got to be hungry for it. You've got to be willing to go the extra mile. And they certainly have shown that they are willing to do just that. But unfortunately, this won't be a round where they can find the results. It's a pistol round, so somewhat to be expected that we're not going to have the craziest results on this one. And it is a bit of a tough one, you know. So your first matchup, I mean, it's the playoffs. Every single team is going to be a tough team. Goes pretty close. You get to your second game and you're up against G2. But the fact is, if you want to win, you've got to be able to beat everyone. So this is a great litmus test, I feel like, for this team. And so far, they're already proving themselves in spades.
I think they've done a phenomenal job. And I think it's crazy that when we watch them play, anyone's calling them the underdogs, because you see the ideas in their head. You know they're working with this coach who's been in the scene for years, who's taken teams to champ, and who's been able to work with this team for, what, just a couple months? I think 2 months as a core 5. And to be able to do this, I mean, this is stage 1. We're in playoffs for stage 1, so the more time they're going to spend together, they're just going to get better and better and continue to improve.
I don't know, that was the conversation around the points, right? You know, you've got a lot of time to make up any sort of a deficit that there might be. So looking forward to the future evolutions. But we're not, you know, we're not at the end of this series just yet. There's still potential for a third map here. If GX continue battling back, sure, it's been a slew of rough rounds, but economy was a bit of a problem for them. Jade now going to try to bring it back. Oh my god, I think she must have just clipped the side of Vanya on that second one. Predicts that one perfectly, and as G2 scramble like ants to get in on towards this side, it's Anita with a triple tap down. I mean, what is there to say about that? They get corralled in by the Hunter's Fury, and then it's like shooting fish in a barrel.
I think it was interesting earlier we had that little stat pop up that this is actually Jademon's least favorite map.
Understandable.
But like you put the Odin in her hand, you give her an ult, and then I think it's what, Anita's favorite map? Or Dora? I think it was Anita. So you have like conflicting feelings on this map, but if this is how Jademon plays on her least favorite map, I wish I could play like this on my favorite map.
Listen, the polarizing maps are always the most entertaining. For a second there, I wasn't even sure if that was the clone. But this is why I'm not a pro player.
Once it walked
Yeah,
off.
I mean, yeah, then it just continued walking straight off the map. Like, that was kind of the dead giveaway. Ooh. Information garnered. A lot of free space in mid, but interestingly, they're not opting to take it. How are they on smokes? Yeah, I mean, they could. But maybe with Akita showing face there, makes it just that little bit too obvious. We're back now into the heavy defaults from G2, and this worked very well for them on the previous map on their attacking side, so unsurprising to see that they're going for far more structured play.
I think that's something that really has shined in their gameplay, is that these are seasoned players and they're comfortable and they're strong, so when they have these hits that they know work, they're able
30 seconds left.
to just continue to put up the work they had. To clear sight first.
That's the problem with a near sight. It's not a full blind. It's a bit like me. Jade gonna be able to continue raining down terror with this Odin. Somehow dodges out the fragment. Not quite landing the shots on Mimi. Cosplaying Neo without even moving at this point. A flash over the top. Nothing to swing off of it. So it doesn't really garner them too much, but all G2 need to do here is try to hold the line. And okay, that is a funky cosmic divide coming through as they start to funnel their way in from the defender's spawn side. We go 2 for 2, and looks like it was just the perfect cosmic divide for it. But as the tap connects, that first Hunter's Fury shot will land, chunks down the HP. But oh my god, just the layering of utility to keep them off of the spike just that little bit longer. The perfect two players to survive into the ending embers of that round. And G2 can even it up.
That's the problem. That's the problem when you have a Sova and Astra you still have to worry about.
One enemy remaining.
I'm also wondering, I think Anva went there to tap the spike again because she knew they were heaven, and so I think the turn was to try to get the defuse because time was ticking there just at the very end.
Oh, that clock can certainly become your biggest enemy. Oh, Amy. Watching just the wrong angle, and with no one there to back her up, she loses that opening duel. But now G2 take the time, take the momentum, moving out onto the site already. And that KO ultimate that worked out so beautifully for them in a previous round, looking to get the same results here again. GX trying to play that a little bit more passive, and it works. G2 are trying to get in their faces, and unfortunately, they get obliterated in their aggressions, in their overcommitting into trying to take that space, and Mimi has to somehow one against the world and will be denied. GX continue to hold on to their lead.
Yeah, I mean, they know what happened last map when they lost that lead.
One enemy remaining.
Not looking to make the same mistake, and if they keep playing like this, don't know that it'll happen, but we're nearing the end of this half, and this is looking eerily similar, Sam, to Corrode, is all I'm gonna say.
Deja vu all over again. Final round now in the half. Only 2 ultimates to work with, but they can be impactful in different ways. Let's see how they do get utilized. Amy's also really close to the Steel Garden as well. So there's a lot of potential into this round if G2 want to find a way to even out those scores again. We'll keep things in the slow default that we've had so often. GX, to their credit, also being a bit more patient now. And this is where the Sova can really start to shine. You can garner a lot more of that information without putting yourself at risk. They know that mid is available. No sound has been made anyway just yet, but Cosmic Divide, yep, that should be a bit of a dead giveaway. Dimensional Drift as well should come into play. Akita has already found space on the site, but look at Anita playing in the smoke here, waiting for someone to walk into her crosshairs. They do just that. She gets one, but she's traded, and G2 coming out on top of these battles. The Cosmic Divide working in their favor. Jade tries desperately to play off of that ping, but she swings into 3 players. Not much longer for this world. And with only 2 reinforcements remaining for the GX squad, it's looking like an almost undoable scenario. Spike now down. Anva and Jada removed from one another. They could potentially set up some crossfires. A great paranoia that forces the issue. Anva brings it down to only a 2v3. Jade has given away, or Jada has given away her position with those shots ringing out. Oh my god, unscopes at the wrong time. And the final 2 kills land. Another 6-6 half.
Switching sides. Spike down B. Last player standing.
Well, another 6-6 half for this series, Sam, but this time we're on Abyss and we're swapping sides. Ginex getting ready for the attack, but they have to put it all on the line this half if they want to stay in the series and bring it to split.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about how they had such a great attacking half on Corrode, and to be fair, they did, but it did still end off on an even kilter. So it's not like they had this runaway lead. It really has been blow for blow. We continue to trade punches, and of course, this map seemingly no different in that regard. So let's see how this half pans itself out. On the other side of it, we will either have a victor, or we'll have a third map.
Only 2 options, but we're already seeing very similar to Corrode that GX are not afraid to take this space mid. They know how to work these maps. They seem comfortable, but it's what you do after you take that space.
Yeah, I mean, not just take the space, like they are up in that space. and G2 is so often comfortable to leave space open in mid, give them that kind of space to play with, but it allows them to reposition themselves a little bit. Ton of damage done onto Anva here. Now they know that there's a strong presence in towards mid. The spike is making its way alone through the breakable door. I mean, if Akita gets this kill here, this round could fall apart at the seams. But of course, the door hasn't been broken yet. So there's still... Oh, as I say that. Thank you, Jade. Door gets broken, waits for the right moment as GX find themselves in a good position. Oh, doesn't get the kill onto the Sova, but in fact takes down the chamber. And Akita will not be much longer for the World and Medora then can swing out and keep things a little bit more contestable. But Mimi, the ultimate anchor, one after another. She annihilates the encroaching forces, and with 8 seconds remaining now, all there is to do is run headlong into Amy's awaiting arms. G2 take their first pistol.
When you watch a pistol round like that and just Mimi swinging like that,
30 seconds left.
so surprising. That's their first pistol of the series. Really great shots. Really great holds.
Were your last words?
And it's like you
We
said,
love
they're
to
not
see-
afraid to hold on to sight. Because they know GX are going to push into that.
Right there.
Orb control, a personal favorite of mine. Oh, that was cheeky. Very specifically from Anva. But I suppose you come into a round like this, you don't really have a whole lot to play with. Utility is scant, so they're hoping that they can get just a little something something. The timings on that were absolutely ridiculous. Not going to be allowed the follow-up kill. GX very slowly. The wall kind of plays into that, making their presence known. Akita, how do you keep doing this? Amy on the ground, managing to follow it up, and yes. Talking about fish in a barrel. Barrel? Fish? Yes. G2 are the fisher people.
Fisher woman.
Fisherman.
Spike
Fisher
down.
women.
One enemy remaining.
Fisherates, if you will.
I like it. I like that. Fisherettes.
Yeah. Not to be confused with fishnets.
Absolutely not. You can wear fishnets as a fisherette.
You can. You can also catch fish in fishnets as a fisherette.
Wearing fishnets.
Flash.
Wearing fishnets.
The last you can
Alright, enough of that.
do, especially if you're Akita.
And she just gets so up close and personal in the enemy lines. And that first kill is so pivotal. Gives them that player advantage. They can just fall back now and hold on to the space.
Man, Akita is just like not afraid to take these fights.
And we keep things on a, well, not an even kilter by any measure, but trades, I always say trades usually favor your attackers. Now, yes, there is a little bit of a deficit here for GX, but with G2 losing a player, they force themselves to have to spread a little bit thinner. And you can see that with where Amy is playing right now. She has to be in a position to be able to pivot at a moment's notice if needed. And somehow, so much space has already been garnered in on towards the side. Anita right in behind them. Ooh, Vanya nearly gets caught out in the cosmic realm, but manages to get out of it just in time to get a kill, a follow-up. Spike lost up in heaven.
Blinding.
Jada now has to somehow bring this back.
I have the spike.
Recovers the spike.
10 seconds
Is
left.
she aware of Mimi? Mimi's just holding for her. Spike will get planted now. In fact, both of our G2 players just holding those sight lines. Not wanting to overstay their welcome unnecessarily, get too hyper aggressive. Oh, Mimi, damage done, but can't confirm the kill. And now they know exactly where she is, fully blinded out. She will be shut down. And G2 on a tear, 3 consecutive rounds.
I think what we're seeing is a lot of this kind of new hunger versus like tried and true. And that's why
30
we
seconds
see
left.
that GX is not afraid to take space. They're not afraid to kind of move in and
Enemy
push. But
remaining.
G2 are just so comfortable holding these sites. So comfortable just positioning themselves around. And then you have this pick up in Akita, who's really, really not afraid to get aggressive. Knows she has ways that she can get out if she needs to, and just really, really solid defense coming out from G2 here on their map pick. I would take a timeout too right about now if I'm GX to just kind of identify what can change, because it's not too late that you can't turn this around and bring it back.
Absolutely. I mean, G2 showed us that on the previous map as well, right?
Yeah.
As long as you still have the belief that you can do it, certainly anything can be done. And one of the things I wanted to bring up, and you know, unfortunately, there are so many storylines and so many things that we want to talk about, and only so much time to do it in. But I really wanted to highlight the brains and the brawn. You know, everyone talks about brains versus brawn, but on G2, it really is a combined effort here. You have Akita that plays out of her mind in so many series. She's so consistent. And then you have Mimi, veteran talent, has been around since the very beginning, has participated in every single champs event, has, you know, won. So she's lifted so many trophies. The experience that she brings to the table, coupled with the raw firepower of players like Akita, is part of what's made G2 such an unstoppable force.
You're right. It's bronze, it's brains, but it's not just brains. It's exactly what you said. It's that experience and being able to draw on past experiences, even on these new maps, right? And I guess Abyss isn't really that new anymore, but it doesn't matter when your fundamentals are the same.
Fundamentally, GX are now on the site, even with pistols. G2 give over a lot of the space. Oh, it is whiffy. It's not clean by any measure. There's a shock dart kill. Anva's managed to get a kill onto Akita, and in a round that they have on paper no business winning, they've given themselves an advantage, but now the paranoia starts to set in, and no, I don't mean the ability. Anita pushes out just that little bit too far. The spike will get planted, but it's back down into a 3 versus 3, and the one rifle that they had recovered has been taken away in an unrecoverable position. Anva loses out on the outlaw, and now there's very little more, I think, that GX can say for themselves in this round. So much done, battling so hard, but it's another round for G2 as they take it up to double digits.
The fact that they got in and got the plant down, though, I mean, when you only have the sheriffs, if you don't hit those shots, that's tough. And look, unfortunate and uncharacteristic, I think, whiffs from Akita. I don't think that's something we're used to seeing from her, but you got the rest of your team to back you up. Some whiffs as well with the sheriff, and unfortunately you don't have that spray power to reset. But good job getting the plane down. Took a couple weapons offline as well. And now you have the buy up. You just had that timeout. This is where we're gonna have to start to see what they're adapting. Kita doing a good job holding down this A site though with that up.
Low and slow. I mean, this is very GX, you know, not a super default heavy team, but prefer to lean a little bit more into the power of the death ball. Oh! Left, right, good night, Akita. Challenging that corner with a shorty in hand, and will get punished for her hubris. Ooh, Mimi spots Jada on the oh no! Oh no! Moment of silence for Mimi.
It happens.
She will be remembered. It does. Oh, Amy!
It's okay.
That happens too. Like, Amy just went, all right, you know what? It's fine, it's fine. I got this.
I got one for me and one for you.
There you go. Teamwork. They held hands on that one. 3v3 now. The GX does have that spike planted. Steel Garden comes out. But look at how GX are playing this post plant. They're so far away. Nothing can hit them. They're literally in Narnia. Dora can get one and just TP all the way out of dodge, leaving Vanya alone. Does she know that Adora is right behind her? It seems unlikely. No, she would have heard that flash. So she must have an inkling. Shots do connect, but there's no trade just yet. Tap on the spike. Hasn't managed to bait out the ultimate. Again, oh man, the Sova and the Astra, but the shock darts aren't connecting! No ways! No way she gets that off. They opt to hold on to the ultimate. to have that for a later round. They try to get the final shots with the shock darts, but they miss their mark utterly. And I'm gonna... The sheer cheek to stick that defuse. My goat.
And the thing is with that smoke, you don't know that your shock darts aren't hitting.
Clutch.
Yup.
Taking that back.
And to... Oh, that's so heartbreaking too,
Right
because you
here.
could tell they thought the shock darts hit because they didn't even continue to spray.
Bad. I'm still losing my mind over that one. And then
I
Monia
know,
goes ahead and
that's so
starts the next
heartbreaking.
round with an opener. Like, she clutches that previous round and then opens up the next round with a kill onto Jada. And just unreasonable scenes here. Finally, we will see that Hunter's Fury come out. And it's more about space denial than anything else. Doesn't manage to garner them any information. And off the back of that, not willing to push in just yet. Trying to see if they can bait something out. But now with the drone spotting out both of them, you have to try and rethink how they approach this. And it looks like it will be the pivot over towards B. But there's presence in towards mid here. Mimi has to be so ready for this push to come through. Oh no, because Ava's come to fill in this gap. Could be Anva now, who's a little bit under pressure. And it feels like G2, the info starve has caused them to kind of second guess a little bit, but now they'll start moving their way in. Adora pops that dimensional drift and can start flittering around the site, gets a little bit of information here. Amy just pops up onto the box and will get sat down. GX looking to finally find themselves around in this half as the cosmic divide, that curtain comes down. A wall of silence and no vision whatsoever. How cheeky will Mimi get with this? She's got a flash available to her, so she could flash Akita out. This could pay off beautifully for them, but that spike is continuing to tick away. They don't have time to waste. Adora catches Ava, knows that Vanya is there, and it's an attempt to overrun, and the overrun is working. One player left. Adora managed to save herself, but now the counter cosmic divide denies her any space, any sightline, any opportunity. G2 up to 12 with an oppressive retake. Map and series point.
I think, again, this is just really highlighting Mimi's calling here, because I don't think it's that GX did anything wrong. I love the Cosmic Divide. They got us, they got planned down, but it's that experience that comes with being able to make those calls in a short amount of time, and then having a team that can back you up and be able to create that vision. It's just a synergy they have, and that just comes from being veterans, from being so comfortable playing together and knowing how to play off of each other.
Well, vision is the first step to manifesting. And Giant are trying desperately to manifest around for themselves. It has been 6 consecutive in this half. 7 consecutive overall, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was GX that took us to 6, and then G2 got the final round. But they're looking to make it an 8th now to keep that momentum going. Anita has shut down Mimi. Now there's no flashes available here for these attackers to start reclaiming some of the space. But look how far G2 are from everything. They've given over the space, and they've opted for a more retake-heavy situation. They catch Anita. The lurk has been taken offline. And with the drone now peeking out for info, all they spot is Jada. So they don't have nearly as much information as they'd like. And as that smoke clears, Akita, very brave, out in the open. Loses one of her teammates, but we continue to trade back and forth down to a 2v2 scenario. High ground, low ground, hand in hand. Jada lines them up, knocks them down. GX find their first, stop the streak, and give themselves a stay of execution.
It's quite an uphill battle, but you gotta start with the first round, and if they can keep chipping away like this, still have a chance to bring it to split. It's gonna be tough. They're against these powerhouses that are G2 that are so comfortable retaking, but FGX can continue to be strong. I mean, we know they're confident girls. We know they're a confident team, but you can't afford to get antsy whatsoever, and I think they have it in them. Just gotta take it round by round.
Focus on the round in front of you. Can't be worrying about, oh, we need 5 more rounds, and then it's overtime, and then it's still a map 3. You can't be doing that. You're gonna psych yourself out. You're gonna put yourself in a position where it's very difficult to come back mentally. 1 round at a time. Focus on the minute that lies before you and what you're gonna do to claim that time as your own. Another strong mid push, but drone spots out too. Gives over a lot of information. Causes Giant to pause.
Giant X not afraid to take this slowly. They can't afford to make any mistakes at this stage. Just trying to prod for info, but make sure they group together, make sure when they exec, they have the numbers, they have trades coming out. They have their full utility to be able to
Thorns down.
Yeah, we got a shotgun at the default position, but it has been spotted out by that teleport. And well, now they know there's just that one person there. They're going to continue to commit to this. They opt to ego the shotgun, and the shotgun shows them who's boss. A second for Amy. There's no way that they were brave enough to keep pushing that. And somehow GX, 13 seconds remaining, only 1 player left. Unva so far away from the spike. It seems undoable. 5 seconds now. She still doesn't have control. She's going to walk straight out into the open. And it's Mimi with the final kill.